Hello.
Hello, Miss Noble. How are you?
I'm doing well, Miss Wynn. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Am I your first guest?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. You are. Let me see. Do you have video or are you just doing audio?
Oh. Well, I see you. I see you.
Well, good. Well, good. You can see me. That's a good thing. Let me see. I need to kind of share let me see if I can share my screen because I want you guys, I should have sent this via email. Can you see that document right there?
What group chat?
It should be something that says
that whiteboard.
Yes. Isn't anything on it?
No, I don't see it yet.
Okay, let me see. Let me go back to. Okay, can you see it now?
It was there, then it disappeared.
Let's see. Hopefully it's slow because I told it to share the specific document. Nothing is there. It's just me on there.
But right now it went back to my original stream.
Let's see if I can go back to trying to figure out where all these things are. Okay, let's see if I click on that.
They're gonna make me computer savvy yet.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, ma'am. Okay, let me see. How can I go back to? Let me click on this. No, that's not quite what I want either.
I feel like this. If I can get on, anybody can get on.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna click stop share and then see. Okay, so now let me try it again. So I'm gonna do share screen. And let's see. All right. Let me know if anything else came.
Okay, it said write your review.
Write your review. That's not quite what it should be showing you. It should be showing you this PDF file. All right, let me see. Let me look and see. I'm gonna stop sharing it again. Okay. All right, so.
I hear you, but I don't see anything.
Well, I tell you, technology is something else. All right, so. Let's see, so. Let me click on this. Okay, what's showing now? Anything?
The only thing it's showing me is like the screen is telling me about Zoom and how successful it is about video conferencing app.
When you look on there, do you have like any options if you click on like the over there where your name is? If you click on like those three dots, does it show you anything there? I don't know what this is right here.
It is not.
Let's see, pause recording. Table. I don't know why
I don't know why it took me from the original stream.
like if you okay, so look on the bottom. Do you have like anything on the bottom? Like the little blue video camera icon by chance? And if you click there, is it showing you anything?
I don't want to click on the wrong thing
Mm,
because this is not the original stream.
hmm. That's weird. And you were able to see me when you first.
In the beginning.
Um.
Let's see. I can't mess it up.
Push come to shove, just log
I
off.
just if it look, I log out, I log back on.
Right. I know Miss Twilly said that she was going to be able to come, and I didn't hear from anyone else, so I'm not sure. Who will be here?
Well, if nothing else, I got audio.
You got audio. You just can't see the information.
Okay, you're saying launching, so we'll see what it may pick you back up.
Okay. And then what I'll do is, I think I'm going to email you that other file. And then if you're able to open up the other one, if it doesn't show up, then you can at least see what I'm talking about. Let's see.
Okay, Taliaferro.
Oh, so you can see it. Good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send
Now I
this.
see my name. Okay.
Okay. So you can see that, and then does it still show me as well?
We still show you. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Stakeholder advisory. Gotcha.
Okay, good. So at least we know it's working for the both of us right now. Hopefully, if anybody else logs in, it'll be there. So have you been getting on like the other Zooms with Miss May or anything?
I have. I've been getting
Okay.
on there. But of course I've been calling Miss William. I know we had one on Friday. But it's been working pretty good. But the thing of it is, no kids logging on, no parents.
Yeah, that's the same thing with high school, and I think middle school is experiencing the same thing. You don't have like a lot of students just logging in, and so
I think they're just maybe going to the sites and working on the sites. But I try to encourage the parents to at least have contact. I was just calling to check on the students as well as themselves to see if they had anything that they need or if there's anything that we could do to try to help this transition to go more smoothly.
I know it.
I went to the school. Did I? Oh, you didn't know? I ended with the flu.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness.
When I left that meeting, I did everything but streaming that meeting. We were sitting so close like sardines.
I know it because
I'm like, I can't believe this. They're asking us to be this close and all this corona going.
right, because the sad thing is most of us don't know if we have it or not because a lot of people aren't tested, so we just around here just going blindly. We don't know.
But when there's something in the air, I have very sensitive nose.
Ah.
And they can sense that I'm sitting outside. But my nose was just burning. I'm like, this is not good, people. I know I'm sitting around who I know who have been sick, coughing and stuff. I said, I am doomed. I said, and me without my mask.
Right. Lord. So what did you take for?
I started having a low grade fever on
Mhm.
Saturday, and I start keeping a check on that. I'm like, I thought it might have been sinuses or allergies because I had
Mhm.
been outside in my yard in my flower garden.
Yes.
But then I said I never had a fever with that, so I said this may be something else. Then I started having chills,
Mm. Mm-mm.
and I started feeling a little achy.
Wow.
And so I called Kenya at the health department. I called her at home Saturday night, and I was telling her about how I was feeling, and she was telling me, well, she said, well, it could be this, it may not be that. And when my fever went up to 101,
Mm.
uh, late Sunday night, Monday morning, I called my doctor office, and I went. They gave me some Tamiflu,
Gotcha.
and that knocked it on up.
Well, good. I'm glad it knocked it out. Hey, Miss Twilly. I see Miss Twilly is on here, and then Miss Mary's on.
And Mary, Vivian, yeah.
Oh, it's some more. Can y'all hear us?
Yes,
Hello,
ma'am.
ladies.
Hello.
I see Miss Stewart. Miss Stewart has hers muted.
Mary said hello. Hi, Miss Twilly.
Uh-oh, who is this calling? Hold on one moment, ladies. This is Sheena Noble. Oh, we can see you that you're on here, but with the audio. Okay, so if you look on your do you see like, well, we can see your name. I can see your name. I can see that you're on there. But do you see like the 3 dots on there? Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, bye-bye. That was Miss Twilly. She said she was having problems with I guess hearing us or whatever. So she's going to try something else and then see if she can hear. And then after that, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Miss Wynn, have you heard from Miss Seals?
I saw her earlier
Okay.
today. She may not have remembered.
I know, because I know she's been dealing with the meals and things, so she's probably busy and tired, which is understandable. Okay. Let's see. Miss Mary and Miss Stewart, can y'all see the this presentation that's over here on the left-hand side of the screen?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay, excellent. I'm just going to see what we can get Miss Twilly going here. But are y'all finding that a lot of people are they self-quarantining or are they out and about in the community?
Few people are still out and about. I'm sure they're probably keeping it to a minimal.
Yeah,
The Dollar General is still seeing its influx of travelers in and out.
I know. I tried a couple of times. I went to the school on Monday and then I went last Monday. Tried to see if I could look up on some toilet tissue. I was not fortunate enough to find any down there either. It's
I
rough.
didn't I didn't think to go back there today because the store was quiet. Things was in order, not in disarray.
Ah, today may have been a good day to go.
It
I,
may would have been
I,
since they start having people to they start rationing and limiting the quantity of that people can buy at one time.
mm-hmm. That's the thing.
Most
I went
stores
to
already
my
did.
Publix today. And then same thing, then the gentleman was stocking. I said, what's the deal with the toilet paper? He said, well, all the seniors came in early this morning. They just picked up everything. I said, goodness, the seniors not even doing right. And seniors are hoarding as well. Yes. All right, Miss Twilly, are you in? Let me send her a text real quick and we'll go ahead and get started. And then I think this is recording. And so what I'll do is send her the recording and get her feedback if necessary. Let's see. Yes, yes. Uh-oh, I think this is her calling me back. Hello? Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do, this is going to be recorded and I'll send you a link to the recording. And then if you can look at it at your earliest convenience whenever you can, and then provide your feedback, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. No problem. Thank you for trying. Okay, all right, bye-bye. Okay, ladies, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and logging in. I know it's a lot going on, families and different things that we have to be dealing with. I do appreciate your time. Hopefully my screen, you can see my screen and it changes. I know sometimes with my students, it doesn't change. So if you're noticing that anything is not changing, if you would just let me know, I would appreciate it. So here's the agenda for today. We just wanted to do a brief recap of what we talked about during the last meeting, to give you another overview of Perkins 5, and then to look at what we are currently offering our students, look at some performance indicators, talk a little bit about teacher retention and recruitment in regard to the CTAE program, and then get your feedback. So the last time we met, we talked about some of the district and regional workforce needs. Of course, with our county being so small, there's not like a lot of things or a lot of industry or companies there. So we looked at it at a regional approach. And then we also looked at a document that listed some of the top employers of the residents in the county and as in the region as well. We talked a little bit about the commuting patterns, mentioning that a lot of the residents do tend to commute outside of the county for work. And then we talked a little bit about Harrison Poultry, the status of the mill, and then it was mentioned that they were thinking about bringing on a hatchery in the future. Perkins 5 is really the main reason for this meeting. Basically, as it says here, it's just an act that was signed by Congress back in 2018, and the money or Perkins 5 actually provides funding to our school and high school, other high schools, as well as technical colleges to kind of help support the career technical programs that we offer at our school. With Perkins 5, it's a little bit different because we've had Perkins 4 in the past where we received funding and money for our career technical programs. But with Perkins 5, it now requires us to complete a local needs assessment. For the school district itself, we already have to complete a local needs assessments for all of our programs or for the school in general, but now we have to do a separate local needs assessment for our career technical education program. And the requirements of that assessment is to ensure or to take a look at, to make sure that we are aligning what we're offering our students with what the needs of the local and regional and state labor markets are. We also have to make sure that our programs that we currently offer our students are quality programs and that it has some type of approved program and study in which students have multiple opportunities to go on to technical schools or go on straight to work or go to a four-year university or the military. Another thing that it requires us to do is to look at the teachers that we have and to see what efforts we're making to retain and recruit qualified teachers. And then finally, and probably the most important part, is to ensure that we are providing equity and access to our CTAA programs, so our special population groups, to make sure that we're trying to remove any barriers that they may be facing, and then try to alleviate any performance gaps that we may be noticing with our special population groups versus all of our students. And later on, we'll take a look at, you know, the special population groups that's identified by Perkins 5. So here's a quick glance of what we have, our career tech program at our school. We have the business and technology program, we have a finance program, we have healthcare science, and then we offer computer science to our middle school. And so as you can see, we have 3 students that's right now in the business and technology pathway. We have 17 students that's in the finance pathway, 8 students in healthcare science, and then all of our middle school students get a chance to take the computer science course at some point during the year. I get to see the 8th grade students twice a year, and then the 6th and the 7th grade students I get to see once a 9 weeks, 9 weeks out of the school year. And so that's our program right now. When we look at performance indicators of our students, well, I should mention that one of the things that Perkins 5 does is require us to look at performance indicators, or look at the performance of our students in different areas. And so what you're looking at now, can you guys see this particular table?
I can.
Okay, so what you're looking at right now are the different categories that they're going to be looking into starting with fiscal year 21 next year. And so they're looking at how well our students are performing on in American literature on that particular exam or test that they have to take. How well are they performing on the geometry assessment, biology assessment? They also look at non-traditional. So non-traditional would be like STEM, healthcare, science, and education. So they look to see how many males are participating in the healthcare science program, or how many, if we still had construction, how many females are in our construction program. So fields that you typically wouldn't see a huge number, or fields where there's an underrepresentation of different genders. They also look at work-based learning, credentials of value, and that's basically meaning that a student earns some type of certification, and they earn that by taking an end of pathway assessment after they complete 3 courses in CTA. They look at our extended graduation rate, the 4-year graduation rate, which they say always is going to, or basically was estimating how many students graduate on time within 4 years. And then they look at the CTAE pathway completers. And again, that's how many students are taking 3 CTAE courses in the same pathway and completing that pathway. So if you look at the information that was provided to us by the state, this is just showing us data from 2018 and 2019. It is unofficial data, but for each category, it shows you the percentage of students that are meeting the requirements as far as being proficient in the different areas. What you will notice is that for 2019, with the non-traditional, the problem is we no longer have architecture. We no longer have Mr. Boatwright's program, and so that's why you're seeing a 0 there. We still do not have a work-based learning program, which is a concern of ours. That's why we have 0s there. And then everything else, for the most part, especially our graduation rate, has been pretty consistent. So this is all of the students, based on, when I say all of the students, we're looking at the CTAE concentrators, and I try to give you an explanation over here. That's going to be 2 students who completed 2 courses in a pathway. So I mentioned the pathways right now that we're offering are the finance pathway, the business and technology pathway, and healthcare science. So concentrators are going to be students who completed at least 2 courses, 2 of the 3 courses in that pathway. That's the numerator that's used to come up with this particular percentage. And then the denominator that they're using is the number of students who graduate with a regular diploma. Okay. Any questions on this information right here? No, it's a lot.
I noticed the percentages as far as most of the categories. The only one, I guess, the extended graduation rate and the
Mm-hmm.
4-year graduation rate is pretty much the same.
Yes.
What was the drop from 18 to 19?
I think part of the drop has to do with the fact that the class of 19 was smaller than 18. I think that has something to do with that. And because of the number being smaller, then perhaps we had fewer students who did well on those assessments. That's just my guess from right now. Again, this information is not, when they sent it to us, they were just trying to give us an idea as to how we would, guess, match up if we had actually had to use this information as an indicator of our performance, but they weren't able to confirm that this is 100% accurate.
Okay.
Okay, so that's indicators. Subpopulations, as defined by Perkins 5, are the things that you see here. Students with disabilities, the economically disadvantaged, students that are in single parent homes, and then say including single parent, single pregnant women, individuals preparing for non-traditional fields, people who are out of the workforce, English learners, homeless individuals, youth who are in or who have aged out of foster care, and then our students who have a member or have a parent that's a member of the armed forces or who's on duty. So I highlighted some of these things because, to my knowledge, I know that we have students in these categories, probably have some people that's in the outer workforce category as well, but these are special populations. And one of the things that we're supposed to do is to ensure that the students who are falling in this category or in any of these categories are not, I guess, making sure that they have access to the same programs. With our school, I believe we have classified just about 100% of our students as economically disadvantaged. And so with that said, the numbers that we were looking at before on this is going to include all of those students. Now, as far as the students with disabilities and all of the other ones, because of the amount or the small amount of students or the small number of students that we have in those classes, I can't necessarily break that information out because we have a rule of if it's less 15 or less, we can't identify them or we can't share that information because of the fact it would be easy to identify those students, and because of legal reasons in part, but we can't break it down based on each of those special populations, if that makes sense.
HIPAA.
Okay. Okay, so with that being said, and this being the special populations that we're working with, the questions that I kind of need you guys to share your information or provide your feedback on is, how do you think, our district is doing over well in making sure that we're promoting access and equity in CTAE? The second question, what can we do to do better, or where can we do better? Programs, services you recommend, and then what barriers do you think exist for providing certain things to our subpopulations, such as the work-based learning and the career tech student organizations such as FBLA and dual enrollment? And then finally, what can we do to enhance recruitment to ensure that all students have the opportunity? So before you guys weigh in or share what you want to share, I will say that right now, all students, all of our high school students and all of our middle school students kind of like end up in a CTA class anyway, typically because of the fact that we have limited course offerings. Some students, like for instance, the sophomores and the freshmen, I haven't taught this year due to scheduling and due to the fact that they have extra courses that they're taking to kind of enhance and boost their academic or boost their knowledge in their academic core classes. But typically, once those schedules are resolved, I get to see all students. It's not like we say, okay, you can't get in this class or they don't get assigned to me for whatever reason. If there's room on their schedule, they're coming to me because they really don't have a wide variety of other electives to choose from. And the same thing with the students with disabilities. I typically get them all, regardless of what their disability is. So with that said, do you guys have, do you ladies have any feedback on any of these questions here? Anybody?
If you're able to actually get all of the students, then you're doing the best you can on that.
Okay. So well, I don't know if there's anything else that we could, I mean, any other services, or would you recommend that we try to bring in to overcoming any potential barriers for the students? Like, for instance, one barrier I would say, for all of our students who fall in those special populations and students in general, sometimes can be transportation, and then also having access to work-based learning program. And that's simply because we don't have the program due to the fact that you need a work-based learning coordinator. And of course, that would be me. But with being the work-based learning coordinator, we have to figure out a way that I can actually have that added to my schedule, because that's supposed to be a dedicated time where I can actually go out to different employers and try to get the work-based learning opportunities for students, and so on and so forth. So not being able to really have that work-based learning opportunity for the students, I would say, is certainly a barrier. And if you guys, ladies, have any suggestions on what we could do to kind of reduce or remove that barrier, that would be helpful.
And in dealing with the situation that we're currently, the challenge with technology, having internet access is definitely a barrier. Trying to get hotspots to especially these rural areas where there's no internet, and because of vegetation or whatever the situation is, and some of it maybe economics when it comes to parents not being able to take on that extra burden of providing internet, for their household.
Okay.
So if we could get
It has
our communications to buy into, I think this is a unique opportunity. Give us some free Wi-Fi.
Okay.
well, I mean, even with like that, with me, see, the kids are home and I'm home working, and I still, I've tried getting internet here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm through DirecTV or AT&T and all, and they can't put internet on my stuff because they don't service our areas. I mean, and all these places are saying, oh, just call this number. They're offering free internet during all this crisis, and all. They don't offer it in our areas.
Okay.
So, I mean, that is a huge barrier. I mean, for work and for education.
Right.
Okay.
So maybe if we could try to bridge and build a better partnership with our communications server. Right now, I guess that's Comcast.
That's
That'd be Reliant.
Well, Reliance, yes. Okay.
Okay. Gotcha. And then I wonder if that has to do with, I think what you were probably trying to get to, Ms. Eubanks, is the fact that, is it because they don't have the infrastructure that they need? Whether it's, I don't know what they use down there now, if it's the cables or the I can't think of what the other way that they're using to provide the internet service right now. But is that the case? Not having the
No, because I think it was about 2 years ago, Reliant came through and put in the broadband wiring.
That fiber, yeah.
Okay, fiber
Yeah,
optics, yes.
fiber.
Yes.
So it's
Tal-
here. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of they don't offer it.
Yeah, Taliaferro County got they were in this grant that Wilkes Communications applied for at that time, and everybody under Wilkes Communication umbrella have access to fiber. They wired everyone's home. All the homes are wired for fiber. So that's the best internet, but then the prices just got to be reasonable.
Oh, yes.
And
I do know that one of my coworkers talked to someone at Wilkes, Reliant. I still call them Wilkes Communication, but at Reliant, and and they was saying that they were in meetings at that time when all the shutdowns were going on to see if they could offer a better price. So you may want to look at their website, but it's not going to be the Comcast $10 a month thing. I don't think they'll get there, but it may be, because I think at one time it was like 70 something. Let me see if I can pull it up right quick.
I want to say,
no,
speak to someone
they
today.
sent me the contract for it, and it is anywhere from $59.99, which is $60, up to $150 a month.
So I think that $60 is the
bare minimum.
Yeah, and that is the new rate because of the COVID.
Yeah.
I think.
So if I'm understanding correctly, so Reliant is there and they offer the fiber, but it's just not affordable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did they have a special where they would do the connection for free?
I think they would do the but you got to sign
the contract.
A 2-year
monthly contract. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking at them now. I want to see the price. Oh no, I don't want to request no service. Don't let Mary do that.
I already did it.
All right now, do your thing, girl.
I just ain't got no internet at home to print anything out.
Oh man.
They used to have a price quote.
Another barrier, you were talking about the transportation. Very few of these youth have license.
Okay.
I mean, I think because of the fact that we are in a small town and you can pretty well walk everywhere, they don't try. But then, when they get out and they go to college or something and they need transportation, they can't, they don't even want to try then.
Okay. So transportation due to having a lack of license. So do you think that if they were to, I guess, get their license, will they have access to a car that they could get to or use to get to the different programs or things that we provide?
I think it'd be,
they would.
Yeah, if they had a car. But then what come with license then come with maybe the parents have a car, or if they're working or trying to work. But if we had some kind of public transportation, I think would be awesome. But we know that's a long ways off. I mean, long ways off.
Yeah.
But if we had some kind of program that would support them, like a local Uber or something, maybe somebody would donate some Uber transportation to some of the kids.
Okay.
I mean, something, because I think about one of my students or a former student, and they got a job over on the lake with no license, and who ended up taking her to work every day? Me.
Oh wow.
For over a year. So
wow.
I mean, she wanted to work and she did work, unless I couldn't get her there. But and we've worked on going and getting her license. She's still working on her learner's license. Gotcha. So it's just a matter of, I don't know what it's a matter of.
In regard, going back to that work-based learning, do you have any type of outside of the box ideas or anything about how we can at least get started with some type of work-based learning program for our students. They don't necessarily have to be, while we would want them to be paid opportunities, but they don't necessarily have to be paid opportunities where they can actually go out and receive credit for, I guess, getting on the job experience in some type of industry or something within the community, or maybe just within, I guess, a neighboring district or a neighboring city.
For the ones
Does
that
it
are
have to be
close,
something specific?
Really what they would like, Ms. Eubanks, they really would want us to have it tied to the pathways that we're offering. But to be quite honest, for me, it wouldn't necessarily have to be tied. Ideally, we would want it to be, but I really just want to kind of like just get the program off the ground, at least get something established, and then we can work towards maybe finding something that's closely related to what they really want to do, and something that's related to the courses that they're taking.
So what if you had like a forum with all of the business people that we know of in Crawfordville, close by, that would be willing to come and attend a meeting, and then you give your pitch of what we're trying to do or what we're in need of, to see how many of them will be willing to open up an apprenticeship program to our students.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
does it have to be that? I think that sounds good, but it have to be something like it couldn't go to a shop unless they was in the front office, because at their age, workman comp will
Right.
kill an agency for as trying to do
The liability of it.
Now, if you talk to Harrison before they get here good, and they may do this already in Bethlehem, then maybe we can get some of the kids in the office part, or maybe we can get somebody in the front office in the doctor's office right next door.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And we know none of the kids gonna want to go into retail. They're gonna want to do whatever they could. But I know before all this started, we have a gentleman here that is contracted. He does the HDCI, High Demand Career Initiative. And he knows the people that set up the RPM through Text Run, where the kids in Richmond County go in and learn how to run those machines, and he can set up a tour for you and some of the teachers if they would like to go.
Okay.
His name is Randy Bars. I can get you his information.
Thank you, Ms. Seward.
And he will set that tour up. He offered to do it for other schools as well. So
Okay. Okay. Some of the businesses that you were referring to, Ms. Nguyen, what can you tell me some of those businesses that you were actually referring to that I should be reaching out to? Any particular ones?
None specifically in particular, but Farm Bureau.
Okay.
They can learn about insurance.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay.
I don't know about the place where Miss Hubert works.
What type of company, do you know what type of company that is?
It's Georgia Wood, the wood preserving place right down the road from the school.
Georgia Wood. Okay. Okay.
And we don't have the CNA thing. Well, the nurse have her program, so what about with Jabez?
Say the last part again, Ms. Nguyen. What about with the
Jabez, the personal care home?
Oh, Jabez up from the school.
Okay. We'll look into that.
I can't think of anything else business wise.
Do you think with the bank, would they be willing to let somebody come in maybe?
I don't know if I ever seen anybody intern in the bank.
Okay.
I don't think I have. Y'all in Crawfordville.
They used to.
Oh, they did?
Many years ago.
Because Mary, have you tried to put somebody in there? Would they let them come in on that side?
No,
You may have to
every
go,
time I talk to Lamar, he informs me that he can't do it because of the money,
Oh, okay.
being liable for the money and all.
Okay.
And we know anything in medical be HIPAA, so they're gonna have to be in the front office where they can't see anybody records.
Okay.
So
Now, Kenya, the health department, she'll work with you. You know, she can't pay or anything, but that could be some, you know, some hours and all there. And she lets them help do stuff. I mean, not the shots and stuff like that, but she does teach them some stuff, you know.
Okay. I reached out to her earlier this school year, and I think one of the things she said is that they will have to pass a background check. Have you had any students to go out and actually help her and have to go through with the background check? And
It must be a new thing because I had someone at the beginning of our program, so August, and they
Okay.
didn't have to then. So it must be
Okay.
brand new.
Got you. Okay. I'll check back with her again and see what's the status.
But as far as like the computer stuff and all, I know you can talk to the courthouse because I have put people with the probate judge, and she helps them and lets them help there. And that's computer stuff and all there, you know.
Okay.
You may can put them at some of the other offices. I just go to the probate. I know
Okay.
she's always
maybe
needing
even the
some help.
sheriff department.
Now Tia will, she has put workers there for me, but it's mostly janitorial stuff because of the liability of everything and stuff.
yeah, cause they do have a holding in there where they do bring people if they lock
Exactly.
them up right.
Yeah, they
Okay.
do. I mean, she lets them help with events and stuff like that, but it's mostly away from all of the work stuff.
Okay. Going back to the courthouse, you were saying the probate, is there a specific, what's the name of the individual who you typically work with the probate court?
Is probate is Miss Clarice Stevens.
Okay. Is that STEPHENS?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
What about the assessor's office? What about registrar?
Like I said, you can probably get someone there. I just haven't.
Okay.
Just like I said, I've worked with I've been working with Clarice since she took over, and you know, so they usually request certain people. So it makes it easier. But if you want to do the assessor's office, that would be, it's not John Allen anymore, is it?
It's the lawyer. What's his name?
Mr. Falk, John Falk.
Mr. Falk.
What about the park?
The park. The park would be mostly housekeeping for that age. Just because of the fact that my workers that I put over there are over 18, and therefore they can use all of those heavy equipment stuff and tools and all. So he will request someone over 18 with driver's license.
Okay.
But he never had anyone per se, like to assist with registration of the campers coming in or any of that stuff.
He's got Miss Pat up there.
Okay.
So usually none of mine never go up there. I mean, they're there when they go in and check out, sign in and all, but they don't do any of the computer stuff and all.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's a good start with that information.
I guess Dollar General,
Dollar General will not.
they
No.
will not.
They will not. I've already asked.
Okay.
There we have it. All right. So moving on to teacher recruitment and retention. So currently our TCS CTAE staff consists of Nurse Ashmore and myself. So she does the health science course one period out of the day. And then I do the business and technology, the finance, and the information technology courses, which is pretty much computer science for the middle school. And so these questions right here, I think we know the answer to, and we know the situation that we're working with. But the things that they want us to address in this section is: do you think that as a district we have the staff that we need to meet the needs of our students in the industries that we're trying to prepare them for? What can we do to strengthen it? Are we doing enough to recruit, retain, and develop CTAE teachers in our district? What can we do better? And then how can community and business leaders be a partner in supporting and developing the teachers in our district? And so I think a lot of this has to come with funding, because to be quite honest with our funding is based on the number of students that we have. So of course, with us having such a small school and low enrollment, to be quite honest, my position really isn't completely funded or by the state. So it's like the district is having to pay for my salary and other people's salary and other departments as well. And so I know that is a big issue when it comes to bringing in more programs and bringing in more full-time teachers in the CTAE program. But aside from the money or things, any ideas or suggestions from you about what we need to do in order to try to, I don't know, to try to strengthen the program when it comes to, I guess, keeping our teachers here in the district, as well as trying to bring in additional ones if funding were to become available?
Is there a way that some of the staff that is already there could become certified in certain things to assist or to have more classes?
They certainly could become certified. There are several CTAE pathways in which you could really take a test, take the what they call the GACE, and become certified in certain areas. The issue with that would be, I guess, with scheduling, because right now it's pretty much, of course, as you know, we have pretty much one teacher dedicated to each grade level as well as the subject area. And so while they could be certified, I'm not quite sure how we could work it in scheduling wise during the normal school day.
Yeah.
So with that one, it's kind of tough.
Because
this
another issue
fourth
is
year.
We don't have anywhere to put people.
Yes, that's another concern as well.
Well, and that was one reason I was thinking about those already there.
Yes.
If they've already got a classroom, they can just go to there.
Right. So I don't know. That's one of the things, I guess, when I'm filling out this needs assessment, I'll just have to put in there is just lack of resources, financial resources, space.
Yeah.
And,
time.
And absolutely with time, because you can only do so much. But
now, when
you could partner with another county or another school, the distance would be another factor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about when Health to Taliaferro comes in? They working on that over there on that side where they're supposed to be putting in the garden near that on the other side of the gas pump. Can that be
greenhouse?
Yeah. Can that be a project that they can work on? They can hook that to, if they want to do landscaping or architecture, they can get hands-on. Maybe you can make it work.
Yes, ma'am. So one of the things Mr. Ford has been pushing for, I think he mentioned with the UGA, they were trying to bring in what they call as an extension agent, I believe. And one of the things was the extension agent would be able to teach some of the courses in agriculture. More specifically, I think he was focusing on horticulture. And so if we could ever get that going with having the actual person, that could be an additional program that we could offer. Hopefully that person would be, I guess, certified, or at least have the background credentials where we can get some type of certification so we can put them in as down as a qualified teacher. And then I also know that with Ms. Drain, some of the classes that fall within the horticulture or the agriculture courses, Ms. Drain is certified to teach based on her Georgia license. And so, yes, Mr. Wood, that could be an option there to have at some point the agriculture or horticulture program.
That way, I guess, if we have to put some over there in that arena while you try to figure out how to put some in another, just rotate them out, and so everybody just getting, because we can say we know we are rural, so we can get away with the agriculture piece easily.
Okay. Anything else on that area?
Have you, I don't know if this ties into it or not, but with Harrison, have you spoken to anyone there to see if, you know, there's something that they can come over and teach the kids that would be able to carry over to them?
I have not personally spoken with anyone from Harrison yet. I did send a survey out to the human resources guy, but I think he may be in the Bethlehem place. I know Mr. Ford has spoken with them in regard to them coming over, maybe not talking, maybe he hasn't talked to them about that, but that could be something, that's an idea, something that I could reach out to them, and once they get established over there, talk and see if there's something that, you know, that they could have one of their employees perhaps to come over and do something there in the future. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Is that it? Yeah. So at this point, and what I'm going to do, y'all, is kind of send a survey, because of course I need some type of documentation, especially since we had to meet virtually, saying that we guys met. But what I probably going to do is going to send like a form survey that has these 3 questions on it. And then if you could just respond to those, and just kind of on the bottom somewhere, I think I'll leave like a space where you can just put, you know, the agency that you represent and then your role. That would be helpful. And so the 3 things that we're just looking to get back is, you know, what, if anything, what was the biggest takeaway from this session? What do you think is the most pressing or the most important thing that we need to be focusing on in order to strengthen our program? And then any other questions or suggestions you have regarding doing what we need to do in order to make sure that we are providing the services that we need to provide to all of our students, including all of those populations, and doing what we can do to make sure that they are prepared for the high wage and the in-demand occupations within our region. And so any information that you could share based on that form would be helpful.
And so you're going to email it to us?
Yes, ma'am. I think that's what I'm going to do. So that way you'll have time to kind of think of, well, time. No, a lot of people don't have time. But if you have time to kind of like just think about and just provide some feedback, that would be helpful.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So any other things that you guys, ladies, want to share?
Nothing I can think of.
Well, again, I do appreciate you taking the time to log in and provide the feedback you did provide. It is good information. And we will certainly include it in our needs assessment as I'm completing it and turning it into the state. Okay, so if nothing else, we wish all of you to continue to be safe and take care of yourself, and have a great evening.
All right,
You
same
as well.
Bye,
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.